morning and welcome to another exciting time here on Delta Television. My name is Ogaga Ekaman. On behalf of the board, management and staff of Delta Broadcasting Service, I welcome you to Friday's broadcast here on the program of morning, right? Today I'm not alone. As always, I've got Perpetual Iboba and we've got an area of interesting programming for you from newspaper review to guest interviews and also the star report for the week. It is the 11th day in the month of July 2025. Rather cold Friday. Yes, Perpetua is nodding. You agree?
It's so cold.
It's so cold.
Good morning, Okaga.
Yeah, well, incidentally, BBC, they are showing the other side. I used to know them for because
They're
for
showing
some
themselves.
for some weeks now, we've been commending them that they've relatively been doing okay.
Really?
But
I don't know what changed.
It was yesterday because
Yes.
Wednesday
2 days
night.
ago,
No,
from
Wednesday
Wednesday night
there
throughout
was
the day, there was no light.
Okay.
Then they brought it at night. Then
Okay.
don't get me started.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Then yesterday there was no light. Like, how did why the turn? Like, it was just like from a 0 to 100, like it's that quick.
But how's your week, Jenny?
Mine.
Yes, your week.
Oh, my week has been good. It's been nice. Lots of shockingly positive experiences and the good. And it's been nice, actually.
Okay, so for Nigerians, it has been quite a week. When we start from the Senate, we realize that the senator representing Kogi Central, the person of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, has been the court has ruled on a 6-month suspension, and like the defense will say, they said what the court offered was an advice, was not a ruling on the return on based on the 6-month suspension. But the plaintiff is saying that the court has ordered that she return, the duration for the suspension is too long. Now, and also the court also ordered her to apologize because for contempt of court, while the case was in court, they were asked to not grant any media interview and not speak to the media on any kind, whether going live or whatsoever. But that was when she also put out that satirical apology. So she has been asked to apologize. Now there's been this debate now because the Senate said that they have to see the certified true copy of the judgment, and also Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan has to put out the apology before they now consider if to call her back, because they're still standing on their ground that they have the right, and because acknowledge that they have the right to discipline a senator, but the duration was too long, is too long, because you are now interfering with the person's responsibility to the consequence. So now, what do you think about this whole Senate issue with Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan?
When they say discipline, what is discipline and how long should discipline last? It's been 6 months, for heaven's sake. Call her back, do as the court says, and
Is it up to 6 months?
Almost 6 months. If it's not up to 6 months, it's almost. I think this case has been since February, and we are in July, so it's about 4-5 months. Yes, but it's been taking long. Like the court said, this is not just about her. This is about her constituency, the needs of the people. Do you understand? Bringing what is happening in her constituency to the Senate House and seeing how to help them mitigate their problems and all of that. So she should tender the apology letter and let's get moving with all of that.
Now, talking about that apology letter, there has been debate from different. Now, the apology is not to the president of the Senate.
It's to the House.
It's to the court for contempt.
Okay.
Yes, because they were ordered by the court not to speak to the media or grant any media briefing or interview, and she did that press release, the satirical.
Yes.
So now the narrative coming from the Senate, the sector of the Senate, is as though the court has ordered her to apologize to the Senate. Rather, the apology is for contempt to court.
She should do as the court has instructed,
So that's why,
and get it moving.
Yeah, so that's why they are waiting for the certified true copies, because they now want to they will now review it properly with their lawyers and get legal
Then
counsel
the
before
court
the
should
proceed.
send the copies
I,
to
I, I
them
don't I don't know why
and get-
it's taking too long,
The-
because
the-
initially when I think it was on Monday that the ruling was made, then she said she was going to resume on Tuesday.
Right.
But on Tuesday she didn't resume, and she was asked, and she said due to legal counsel, so she decided not to resume, and which I believe is the right thing. Now, still talking about the Senate, Senator Akoti Udwara has been removed from her current position as the chair of the diaspora committee, and the Senate did this with no official reason, and they put in a replacement in the person of Senator Amir Kombasi, who represents Akwa Ibom Northeast Senatorial District. Do you think that this is like a form of witch hunting?
I think it's one step at a time. Let her come back to the house first. Once she's back to the house first, because you cannot fight from outside. It will seem like you're trying to compound your problems, you know. Fight one step at a time. Make sure that the court, you know, you apologize to the court, you get back to the house, and then you are well settled. You can take on that later. It's not out of place for you to pose questions. Why was I removed without my notice? What is going on? It's your right to ask for explanations. But in the meantime, one step at a time. I don't know if it's witch hunting. I don't know why the house did what they did, but one step at a time.
Okay, still looking at the political sphere. Now, from chairman to chairman, talking about the president of Abdullahi Ganduje. Now, he was previously the chairman of the All Progressives Congress, the APC,
Right.
and he resigned reportedly on health grounds. He wanted to check based on some health reasons. But shockingly, about less than 2 weeks later, he's been unveiled as the chairman of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN. So you're like, okay, less than 2 weeks ago.
I thought you were sick.
You were saying on health
We
grounds.
thought you were down.
Yes, and suddenly you're strong enough to come.
We felt like you were battling something terminal.
So that's why there are also rumors based on what I think it happened in Nasarawa during one campaign, that the APC, especially in northern region, they are not happy with him being the chairman of the APC, and you know, so to pacify them, that's why they asked him. So there are speculations that he didn't resign from the chairmanship of the APC on his own volition. He was made to do that, and apparently speculations, of course, that he was offered this and all of that because he's needed. You need to state that because, like you say, even though campaign has not begun officially, I will use officially because we've been seeing campaigns, posters, flyers, and all of that. The Nigerian politicians are already looking forward to 2027, and the ball is already rolling. They are rolling the dice, moving the pawns, and all of that. So, what do you make of this?
I don't have a problem for him being, you know, moved from chairman to chairman. I don't just like why he made us believe that it was on health grounds, because lots of people were thinking, oh, what's going on? Hope he's fine. You know, there were this kind of concerns, and people were like looking. Only for less than 2 weeks, you're now chairman of, and it leaves the question begging: where's the concept of, you know, truth in all of these? Or is there a hidden plan, a hidden game, a hidden agenda? Whatever it is, he's now the chairman of a FAN, and I pray that he functions well and functions properly. That's all.
Let's talk about our neighboring state, Edo State. Now, the Supreme Court has finally ruled and upheld the judgment of the appeal court that Monday Okwebelo, Senator Monday Okwebelo of the All Progressives Congress is the governor, and he won the 2024 governorship election. Now, I believe it was last week when we spoke about
Yes.
When we're talking about the judicial system and
Okay.
how I spoke that, I think they should find a way to do it that if an office is under contention in court,
Both.
nobody should be sworn in.
Yes. They should just have like an
But-
emergency.
Yeah, but when you consider, and I also talked about one of the reasons why it will be challenging is the duration the court process takes.
But this was quite fast.
Fast.
Kind of.
Do you know that
Kind of.
Monday Pebble was sworn into office in September 2024?
No, I'm saying like the duration of like the final judgment. We talked about it last week, and we're like, we don't know how long it's going to take. Only
But
for us to just wait.
how long was this case in court? In court. So
A long
that's
time.
so when you consider the duration, because when he was sworn in, the PDP and their candidate Aswe Godalo, they said they were going to take it to court. So I think it was sometime last year. So consider from last year, even if it was January this year, that's like almost 7 months
Six,
already.
7 months.
So I think it's something that the judiciary, INEC, they have to come together and talk about it and plan it. So the PDP governorship candidate, Aswe Godalo, she accepted, painfully accepted, but of course he did not agree with that. He lost the election, but he had to accept.
It's beautiful on his part that he accepted. But like what you said, I totally agree with you. If a particular office is in contention, then both people that are vying for that position should not be made to have access to that position till the whole issue is solved, basically. Yeah.
Alright, it's still Friday's edition of the morning right here on Delta Television. We've still got for you paper review, guest interviews, and the star report for the week. When we return, we're going to short break, and when we return, it will be time for us to read out the different headlines across the dailies for today to you. Please stay tuned.
Indeed, Governor Sheriff's administration is committed to delivering impactful governance that will improve the lives of Deltans. Take a look at the inauguration of the Boji Boji Owa Mixed Modern Market, which was inaugurated some days ago.
The newly inaugurated Boji Boji Owa Mixed Modern Market, which includes a modern abattoir, is crucial towards improving economic activities and also stimulating innovation.
Governor Sheriff.
And because Governor Sheriff is dedicated to providing sustainable infrastructures, he has also encouraged that the facilities be given timely maintenance.
Governor Sheriff always concerned about the well-being of Deltans.
I even hear self say in line with the more agenda, opportunities for all. So Governor Sheriff, he don't call for the redesign of academic curricula to equip graduates with the technical skills necessary for them to become job and wealth creators.
And no surprise, just some days ago, the Delta State Ministry of Science and Technology inaugurated the More ICT Year program at the Delta State Innovation Hub, Asaba. This program is a government-backed initiative aimed at equipping youths with essential digital skills.
For this Delta State, more agenda will reach all of us.
Opportunities for all.
Yes, sir.
Matter brought to you by Delta State Ministry of Information.
say learning is fun, but as a mom, I see how demanding it can be for my child. That's why I ensure he starts every day with a cup of Bonvita. Bonvita. Prepare them to win every day.
When you're low on energy and need a break, give yourself a treat. Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Smooth. Crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar.
Welcome back, and it's time now for us to consider the different headlines on the newspapers for today. We've got the Nigerian Tribune, the Vanguard, the Nation, New Telegraph, Daily Independent, the Punch, the Daily Times, the Guardian, and Daily Trust. Kick off from the Nigerian Tribune, and the lead here says, how Adoke others stopped Jonathan from removing me as governor. The statement credited to the Vice President of the country, Kashim Shettima. We've got two riders. Ex-Attorney General of the Federation was haunted globally over $1.3 billion OPL 245 saga. Jonathan. I have forgiven everyone behind my ordeal. This is coming from Adoke. To get details of that story, you can turn to page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune if you have a copy, or log on to their website. Supreme Court affirms Okpebholo as Edo governor. Akpabio removes Natasha as diaspora committee chair, appoints Akwa Ibom senator in her place. NNPCL must account for 210 trillion naira, Senate insists. Flood may unleash toxic chemical, poses risk to elderly ecosystem, UN warns. Onto the top strip of the Nigerian Tribune. Arewa Economic Forum warns against CBN's new BBC recapitalization. Rider cites threats to northern economy, national security, and second rider seek extension of policy. UBA announces strategic expansion into markets across Africa. And lastly, from the Nigerian Tribune, Nigeria won't bow to US pressure to accept Venezuelan deportees. And this is coming from the federal government.
Oh, wow. All right, moving to the Vanguard newspaper, the screaming headline here says, Visa War. Federal government explains stance as US slams tighter measures. The writer to that story says 5-year non-immigrant multiple entry visa for US citizens still in place. 90-day single entry visa validity period applies only to newly introduced e-visas. US introduces fresh $250 visa integrity fee for tourists, students, and workers. At the top strip, federal government to borrow 1.76 trillion naira through treasury bill sales in third quarter of 2025. Shettima to APC, PDP, ADC, NMPP. We are all one. Tinubu's reforms boosting economic recovery. This is coming from the federal government. Okpebholo declares new era for Edo as Supreme Court affirms mandate. And at the bottom strip, 2027, ADC will dislodge Tinubu and APC. This is coming from Arebe Shola. Vows not to sideline state chairman. Utomi backs coalition. Again, herders kill 4 policemen. NSCDC officers in Benue ambush. If not for Tinubu, Buhari wouldn't have won APC primary. This is coming from the presidency. And lastly, Senate sacks Natasha Uduaghan as committee chairman.
The next daily is The Nation. The major headline: Visa restriction. Federal government rejects United States claim on reciprocity. The rider: President didn't stop 5-year visa for Americans. And the second rider: Nigeria won't accept Venezuelan criminal deportees. Okpebholo, Supreme Court verdict victory for Edo. The rider: Obaseki, Ighodalo kick. Mustafa gets knocks for downplaying Tinubu's role in Buhari's 2015 triumph. Garba Shehu, no need for bickering. President's support vital. Tinubu hails commitment of Niger Delta youths, women to development. And lastly, above the masthead, UBA announcing strategic expansion into key markets across Africa. Shettima visits ailing Buhari Abdusalami in London. I'm not in race for APC chair, says Akume. Senate removes Natasha as committee on diaspora chair. To get that and other headlines from the Nation newspaper, do have to grab yourself a copy or log on to their website.
Right, the New Telegraph is next with the screaming headline that says 21-day ultimatum. NMA warns of total healthcare shutdown. Says over 30% of consultants, 40% of resident doctors left Nigeria. Illicit pharmaceutical products. Customs, NAFDAC inaugurates committee. At the top strip, it says report, improved local refining to accelerate Nigeria's GDP to 3.6%. Federal government loan scheme, conditional grant beneficiaries hit 900,000. And at the bottom strip, it says ranching solution to food insecurity. This is coming from COAS. Nisral blames Mokwa flood on poor railway infrastructure. Coalition joining ADC mistake for Atiku and Mark. This is coming from Bode George. And right here is a study lastly that says prenatal childhood lead exposure can cause memory decay in kids.
Next is the Daily Independent. The lead: Okpebholo's Guba victory. Tinubu, Southern governors, Wike, others hail Supreme Court verdict. Got 3 riders. Judgment reaffirms mandate given by Edo people. Statement credited to Okpebholo. It's a betrayal. It does not amount to justice, coming from the PDP governorship candidate Ighodalo. It's danger to nation's democracy, says Obaseki. UBA unveils bold strategy to deepen African footprint, expand global reach. Yelewata massacre. They shot my children. Mother cut them with machetes. Benue survival. Very, very sad commentary there. I hold no grudges against persons who implicated me in $1.3 billion Malabu oil deal. It's coming from Adoki. Chief of Army Staff backs national ranching policy, says open grazing threatens food security. Reciprocity. Tinubu not culpable in U.S. visa restriction policy. This is coming from the presidency. Senate replaces suspended Natasha with Basi as diaspora committee chair. At the top strip, how Jonathan plotted to remove me from office. This is coming from Vice President Shettima. And lastly, from the Daily Independent, road crashes in first quarter rose to 2,650 with 1,593 deaths. This is according to a FRSC report.
Alright, the Punch newspaper is next for review, and it says autonomy standoff. Governors get 4.5 trillion naira local government funds 1 year after Supreme Court ruling. Local government yet to open CBN accounts. Labour blames governors, AGF for delay. Falana Sands accused governors and the federal government. Above the masthead, it says, Buhari government went after my allies post-2015 election. This is coming from Jonathan. NNPC refineries may never work again. This is coming from Dangote. Corrupt politicians using crypto wallets to launder money. This is coming from EFCC chair. And this one is coming from Tugar. He says, Nigeria rejected US push to accept Venezuelan deportees. And at the bottom strip of the Punch newspaper, it says, GTCO plans fresh expansion after London Stock Exchange listing. Igodalo angry as Tinubu and governors praise Ebolo's court victory. 3-year-old boy dies inside Lagos Sokaway. And lastly, local government poll. Ballot snatching will trigger by-elections. This is coming from Lashek, warning the people.
Moving out to the Daily Times, the major headline, killing of 2-year-old. Senate urges Tinubu to pay 200 million naira compensation. Plateau killing. Governor Mokpwang inaugurates 150 agro-rangers. 210 street beggars arrested in FCT over criminal activities. Audit report. Senate insists Ojulari must clarify unaccounted 210 trillion naira by NNPCL. Senator Akpoti Uduaghan stripped of committee chairmanship position. Edo, Supreme Court verdict blow to justice, democracy. A statement credited to Igodalo. Financial fraud jumps 45%. Digital platforms account for 70% of losses. This is coming from the CBN. And lastly, from the Daily Times newspaper, federal government to close job gap, audit skills centers nationwide. This is coming from the Vice President Kashim Shettima.
Alright, the next is the Guardian newspaper, and the stories here says, elderly care, emerging boom in home services, costly substitute for ailing hospitals. Alright, INEC deploys online party registration portal as applicant hit 129. Federal government shrugs off US pressure to accept foreign prisoners and deportees. 210 trillion naira probe. Senate berates NNPCL boss for defiance, issues ultimatum. Security operatives killed, others missing in fresh Benue attack. ECOWAS, court rejects bid to overturn $10,000 judgment against Nigeria. Lagos LG polls. APC opposition parties bicker over exercise. Igodalo accepts Supreme Court's verdict, decries robbery, betrayal of Edo people's trust. And lastly, ADC coalition faces uphill task to unseat Tinubu, says presidency, Bode George.
And the last newspaper we have for you today is the Daily Trust, The Lead. Local government funds. After 1 year, nothing has changed. The rider councils received 3.408 trillion naira through state governments in 11 months. And you can see the photo speak there. It's a graph showing the breakdown of park allocations totaling 3.408 trillion naira to 774 local government areas through states over 11 months. How Adoke stopped Jonathan from removing me as governor, coming from Vice President Shettima. Bandits abduct palace administrators burn houses in Plateau community. Senate removes Natasha as diaspora committee chair. FCTA arrests 210 beggars in Abuja. Still more headlines from the Daily Trust. Military airstrikes kill many terrorists in Zamfara, Kebbi. Amidst high electricity costs, varsities, health facilities yet to get subsidy. Shettima visits Buhari in London. And that's all from. We can return back to the studio now. Those are the headlines. Okay, so Perpetua, we've read out different headlines on, I think, 9 newspapers for today. I'd like to start from INEC, since it's looking like everybody wants to be looking towards 2027 for reasons best known to them. Now, on The Guardian, the headline says, INEC deploys online party registration portal as applications hit 129. What do you think about this initiative, online party registration?
If it's going to be easier for INEC, I think it's a good thing to do. You know, as long as you are properly registered and they don't have problems at the end of the day later to start saying you were not properly registered, or we checked and we had an online problem, we thought they were registered but we found out they were not registered. As long as they are properly registered and it, aids the ease of their application, then it's a good thing, and then the parties should keep registering. As long as they are interested, they are qualified, they should register. 2027 is just by the corner. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that it's a good one in my opinion. I think it's a good one because we've had allegations against the INEC that they are not independent, and the ruling party, the All Progressives Congress, is trying to hinder other political parties from coming into the space through INEC, hindering their registration and making it very tedious. Now, INEC has talked about the number of applications from time to time, so that they have to review them in order of submission, first come, first served basis. Now, with this online registration, I think it's a good initiative if they can manage it, because one of the things in Nigeria is that it's not difficult for us to come up with laws, initiatives. It's the implementation, seeing through. That's the challenge. So now that there's an online platform portal, I think it makes it easier. So if you have a political party, of course, the requirements will be there. If it's the name of the committee or whatsoever, those holding leadership positions, you state it, the agreement, all of that, names of membership and all of that. You put them up there. So it's just for INEC to verify, and okay, then of course there will not be a phase for those persons that are skillful, that have the right documentation. They can now visit the office if need be. So I think it will expedite the registration process if properly managed, and we don't want a situation where we say portal crashed or whatsoever.
Exactly. So there's this headline in the Guardian newspaper. It says, elderly care, emerging boom in home services, costly substitute for ailing hospitals. We know what's going on in the healthcare system, and then the JAPA, syndrome, and the equivalent of 1 doctor to over 1,000 patients and all of that. So do you think this is better? Because the truth is, there are lots of elderly ones in our society that needs not just care but love and attention. Do you think that this is a better substitute for them, like them being at home and then employing people that have experiences in, let's say, care for the elderly in particular aspects like first aid for the elderly, how to take care of the elderly and all of that? Do you think this is a better than them being in the hospitals and then risk the possibility of them not being adequately catered for?
Okay, the first thing is compare. I don't don't think is the best of substitutes, because if you consider one of the adjectives used there, it said costly.
Costly, actually.
So it means it's costly.
It's costly, yeah,
Yes.
it is costly. It's cost intensive.
So I think that what should be done is the government, both federal and state governments, they should pay attention to the health sector. And it's not by bringing up laws and saying that if you graduate from a Nigerian university, you must work in Nigeria for 3 to 5 years before you can travel out, yada, yada, yada. Those are not the kind of solutions we want.
So the kind of solutions should border on their pay,
Compensation.
their
Yes. There are
allowances,
some persons that
and all of
argue about
Right.
hazard allowance and still not implemented. Some say they've not gotten a raise. The ones that have gotten a raise are saying the actual amount, the increased amount has not been paid to them yet,
Right.
and all of that. And they also talk about the working condition. If you go to our hospitals, if you see the condition, you're like, what is this? Recently, I was hearing that former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello,
Yes.
who is in court, the EFCC took to court, he was making an appeal that his visa, because his visa was held, his passport was held, that the court should release it so that he can travel out for help.
medical,
Yes.
yes.
So
Yes.
when we hear things like this, or is he hearing that the president has traveled to France or to London for medical checkup, or was he in the previous administration? So it's not something that started now. So if these politicians are really investing in the health sector, investing in the country as they claim they are doing, so why is it that when it comes to them, they can't go to the hospital? That's why I commend former Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo. There was a time he did, I think it was a leg surgery procedure. He did it in Nigeria here. But another thing they will still talk about is that the average Nigerian might not be able to afford the hospital he went to.
Right. That's also a valid point.
So that's why it still comes back to the federal and state government. When we put the federal medical centers in place, state hospital, government hospitals in place, the teaching hospital in place, and subsidize it, then you can see the common man getting good medical treatment at a fair price. So I think that the health sector needs to be revamped. It needs to be looked into. It needs lots of investment. And I would have said, when we talk about health sector, yes, and private sector should also try to invest. But a private person that wants to invest would rather invest in a private hospital, because that's one competition the government hospitals have, and the average Nigerian cannot comfortably afford a private hospital. And even I think lots of revamping needs to be done. Even the way some government employed doctors behave. You meet them at a government hospital, be it federal or state, and they do their, what's the word now? It's not analysis, but they do their checkup and everything. You speak with them, and then they're telling you that for you to do this test, you have to come. They refer to their own hospital, because they'll tell you that the government hospital does not have the equipment. It's a slap on the face now. Or they will try to make you feel like if you do it here, I've heard people, they're talking about a procedure is going on and there's power failure.
Yeah,
How?
I've heard of it several
How?
times.
Or is it pictures of seeing that someone is carrying out a procedure, they're using phone torchlight? Like, it's
disheartening.
Very, very disheartening.
It
So,
was.
and that begs the question. So, who is wealthier? Is it the government or the private individuals? Because if the private individuals can maintain their private hospitals very well, why can't the government do the same? Why can't the government do the same? Let's move to the Vanguard newspaper.
Right.
This headline: 2027. ADC will dislodge Tinubu APC, and this is coming from Aregbesola, I think the acting Secretary General of the African Democratic Congress. And mind that with a headline from the same Vanguard: Shetima to APC, PDP, ADC, NNPP were all one. I like that message, that were all one. But let's consider, what do you think about this, the opposition coalition under the umbrella of the ADC? Do you think they have what it takes to unseat President Tinubu of the ruling All Progressives Congress?
2027 is just around the corner. When 2027 comes, we'll know. I don't think it's about talking or saying we will or we won't or we have it or we don't have it. When the time comes, the votes will declare, will help us know who is leading and who is losing. So let's just wait till 2027. I'm not really a fan of coming out to talk. We will, we won't, we shall not. When the time comes, we'll see actions and then we know.
Still looking deeper in this matter, do you think that even the ADC, now Aregbesola is the interim national secretary of the party, and even the interim national chairman, Senator David Mark, when you consider the ADC, do you think that they've put their house in order? And now there's also the issue of zoning, and there are different issues. Why I asked if they had what it takes to unseat, because when you consider, first of all, some persons have come out to say that the same old. The interim national secretary, he was of the APC. The interim national chairman, he was of the PDP. We also have likes of Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi of Labour Party and the PDP. So people are saying it's the same old person, so it's not like it's a new party. That's one angle. Then also, they're talking about the thing about zoning. Now, the Senator David Mark has come out to say that they don't have a preferred candidate yet, that everybody has equal rights. Now, Peter Obi has come to indicate his interest that if he is given the ticket, he would just do one term. So with this zoning thing, and I think a few days ago, Kenneth Okonkwo was speaking on national TV, and he was saying that he thinks that the best way to unseat President Tinubu is if the coalition will give the presidential ticket to a northern. So when you're already seeing these things, when you consider the personal ambitions of these political bigwigs in the party, do you think, and meanwhile, special advisor to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Daniel Bwala, has said that this party will not last 6 months because of their personal ambition. So when you consider all of this, do you think they will stand the test of time and they can put their house in order?
If I remember correctly, that's why I was telling you last week that in as much as this particular party has these political bigwigs, they have to put their personalities aside and work for the betterment of the party if they want results. That's why when you asked me about what Aregbesola said, I said it's not about talking. When 2027 comes, we'll know who is in charge. I don't fall for talks at this point. 2027 is around the corner. When it comes, we'll know how it's going to play out.
All right, we'll leave it at that on paper review for today. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll be joined with the reporter who covered the Star Report of the Week on the biggest story of the week. Please stay with us.
Alpha Delta people, in less than 22 months. Governor Borowori don show say im promise not be plenty talk wey dey full basket, not be cho with im more agenda, meaningful development, opportunity for all, realistic reforms and enhanced peace and security. Progress don burst out everywhere. Im don upgrade over 500 roads, initiate over 300 new ones and build plenty bridges wey dey connect our communities.
Every day when I dey reach here, my spirit dey jump and morale dey high because this bridge never tell for worship. This sheriff talk well. Julius Berger is the high. Sheriff! Ah yes.
For education, over 3,000 teachers and support staff don join and schools don dey get better shine.
I really want to say the government have done a good job providing us with these new buildings because we lack lecture or we are grateful to the government.
For the health sector, 1 billion naira, you dey hear wetin I dey talk? 1 billion naira don burst out our health insurance. Hospitals don dey get better modern equipment and new health colleges don open. Every day, changes dey happen for Delta State. For agriculture, 1 billion naira intervention fund dey help our farmers to produce better food. Make we not begin to dey talk about empowerment sef wey dey sup for the state. Sheriff don touch over 250,000 lives for the state.
Our decision is fully committed to what government expected to do for its people, which is to empower them to overcome the challenges of life and enable them to achieve their full means of happiness.
Everybody no go lack for his life, his generation no go lack. As he remember my daughter today, make God remember her. He go come again, we go see follow him again.
Our hard-working civil servants also dey enjoy support, and for our security agencies, they don get 66 security vehicles when our governor don say make he enter the road, make he protect people for the street.
Thank you for the support that you have been giving to the police command and other security agencies in the state.
Ukodo just dey go around every sector to make sure say everywhere palash. Make una know say this one.
You're still onto Friday's edition of Morning Ride, and it's now time for the next segment, which is the Star Report of the Week. Now, the Star Report this week is titled NDDC at 25, Reassurance and Renewed Commitment, and it comes once again from Comrade Usiayo Henry, whose journalistic presence continues to shine through thoughtful reporting and excellent field work. In this latest report, Henry takes us inside the NDDC World Press Briefing held at the Dome Event Center in Asaba. As the Commission kicked off celebrations marking its 25th anniversary, the Managing Director, Chief Samuel Omuko, reaffirmed NDDC's commitment to driving visible, people-focused development across the Niger Delta region. The report captured not just the speeches but the tone of optimism, accountability, and forward planning. Henry's storytelling remains sharp and well-placed. As a sports presenter, reporter, and assistant secretary of the NUJ DBS Asaba Chapel, he blends technical skill with news sense and continues to represent Delta Broadcasting Service excellently. With experience from Hot Sports Nigeria and Nigeria Pilot Abuja, he brings a seasoned yet refreshing voice to screen. Congratulations once again, Henry, for the second consecutive time your work earns the spotlight as the Star Report of the Week. Your consistency is remarkable and your growth is unmistakable. Keep going strong. We'll now see that report quickly covered by Henry on NDDC before heading back to the studio.
Chief Obuku said the NDDC, which was an offshoot of the defunct Oil Mineral Producing Areas Development Commission, OMPADEC, was saddled with the responsibilities of facilitating the rapid and sustainable development of the Niger Delta into a region that is economically prosperous, socially stable, ecologically generative, and politically peaceful. He said that Commission under his tenure have achieved much in building schools, free medical missions, youth internship scheme, postgraduate foreign scholarship program, infrastructural development, and provision of solar lights to communities in the Niger Delta region, among other intervention initiatives, especially in rural communities.
So, the NDDC within this period, I can assure you, we are working very, very hard to carry out the mandate of the renewed hope. For us, most of our achievements in this period, we call it dividends of renewed hope. Dividends of renewed hope, because we are doing our programs and activities according to the guidance of the renewed hope agenda.
The NDDC boss revealed that the Commission has been able to tackle the issues of uncompleted projects by previous administration and expressed appreciation to President Bola Tinubu for the confidence he has on the current NDDC board, while promising that the Commission will continue to deliver on its mission. Earlier, the chairman governing board of the NDDC, Chief Chiedu Ebie, in his address said that one key area of the Commission was people engagement, and that the team was ready to work and push the Niger Delta Development Commission to a greater heights.
We have a story to tell. We continue to try in our little ways to make a difference in the lives of the people of the Niger Delta.
Setting the tone for the series of activities to mark the 25 years anniversary of the NDDC, the Chairman Planning Committee, Honorable Boma Iyayi, explained that the anniversary will wrap up July 12 with a gala and award night in Port Harcourt, as well as beauty pageants. The World Press Briefing featured an interactive session, as well as presentation of award to the NDDC Managing Director by the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, Delta State Council. 25 years down the lane, the Niger Delta Development Commission is indeed making great difference in youth empowerment, education, skill acquisition, and rural electrification across all the Niger Delta region. From the Dome Event Center, Henry Usiano reports.
All right, welcome back. Congratulations, Henry Usiano, for that wonderful report and your story making it as a star report for the week. Now, NDDC World Press Briefing celebrating 25 years.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it was not just a mere press briefing, World Press Briefing, because why I said it was not just a mere World Press Briefing, because this is a press briefing that got all, not just reporters, executives of media houses that were also there, the likes of our very own amiable General Manager, Mrs. Christine Jubome Metulu was there, and of course media executive across Nigeria, and of course we had even international media attended the press briefing, which we have at the CGTN, which is China Global Television Network, BBC, Pidgin. They were all there, and it was actually whoever that gave NDDC this idea of having a World Press Briefing. I think they have to commend you for that, because for NDDC 25 years down the lane, and of course for a commission that has a damaged image of incomplete projects, damaged image of lack of accountability, and of course abandoned administrative issue. It was opportunity for Chief Samuel Ogbuku to set the record straight of what him and his team is trying to turn NDDC into. And of course, setting out the tone that he did say that one problem that NDDC have been suffering for is as a result of too many projects. They are
taking on too many projects at a time.
No. They have too many projects, and of course that is what is actually causing people to feel that this commission, they are not up to par. Don't forget that NDDC was an offshoot of UNPADEC, which was the defunct Oil Mineral Producing Area Development Commission, and of course UNPADEC, we know, didn't stay that much, and now NDDC have come for good 25 years and they are still working strong. And of course, projects that were abandoned by previous administration. Now he has come, talking about Chief Obuko and his team. They have now come, and he said when they came, they realized that what they did was to take assessments of every project being handled by NDDC, and now they took assessment of it, and of course then they began to look, now what do we do? The best thing to do is not to initiate new projects, but to try as much as possible to complete the barrage of a project that they have. And another thing he talked about was issue of exchange of leadership. We definitely know what happened, if we can recall, the then NDDC boss Ponde, when he had to, fake collapsing while he was being drilled by the Senate. And these are a lot of issues that have bedeviled NDDC, and it availed them the opportunity to set the record straight what they've been able to achieve within this few period that they came in. And of course currently now there's an internal audit going on. And another point he said was, instead of having too many departments, they have to beat down the department to cut the cost of expenses in the commission, and that they were able to achieve. And so far so good. Another thing he said actually that the NDDC have been able to do was to ensure that projects awarded are no longer a situation whereby you have to come to the office. Now they have keyed into the new technology, and now you have to apply online. You don't have to come to the office, which was what they used to see, where a lot of persons you have to barge into the office. The place is filled up just to get a contract for a particular project. But now, if you want to apply for project, you do that online. And so far so good. NDDC, he has been able to say that they are now trying to see a situation whereby the Niger Delta people will continue to benefit from the purpose why the NDDC was set up, because the president they signed an agreement bond with the president that they are going to bring a new NDDC, a new phase of NDDC that the people of the region will enjoy, so that the issue of crisis between either try to shut down oil facility as a result of marginalization will become a thing of the past. And of course he did say that though there are these crises, we cannot just extinguish them for once. There was need for them to also collaborate with both private agency and of course a security agency to ensure that these crises are limited to the barest minima, and also see a way where they could channel the strength of youths in the Niger Delta, not to only a bunkry, but a very sustainable and of course a viable means of living, which is agriculture. And of course they have so many programs such as youth empowerment. They have the initiated scholarship for foreign students, and of course so many things that he read at, ensuring that NDDC 25 years down the lane and beyond, they keep making the Niger Delta region great.
Well, this is all encompassing. Like, you just gave us a rundown of everything. But I'm still looking at the 25th anniversary celebration now. How did this anniversary celebration in Delta State, how did it reflect cultural heritage and the diversity, most especially of the Niger Delta region?
It was a week-long activities that was set up, and of course, we have 9 states that makes up the Niger Delta Development Commission. So they try as much as possible to see that the activities are spread across all the states. And of course, it was, apart from the World Press briefing, they had the premiere a movie that showcased the activities of the NDDC in the last 25 years. We have a veteran like Sam Dede, the popular Sakaba man, the actor, and of course those a lot of and we saw the turnout of Deltans to watch that premiere of that movie, and of course reflecting the culture of reflecting the cultural background of Delta State. We saw our very own traditional rulers on their attire coming to watch that movie that was premiered, and of course it was a very good way of showcasing the rich cultural heritage of Delta State.
All right, thank you very much, Henry. Sorry, because of time, we have to leave it there for today.
Thank
you for doing a wonderful work.
Thank you
so much.
Report. We do appreciate you for your time. It's the Friday's edition of The Morning right here on Delta Television. We'll go for a short break, and when we return, we'll be bringing to you another guest to talk about security in the Capital Territory, Asaba. Stay tuned.
Maliciously good, maliciously good. Now I can tell you any day that everything tastes better. It's Bama, maliciously good, maliciously good.
Maliciously good.
Governor Sheriff's administration is committed to delivering impactful governance that will improve the lives of Deltans. Take a look at the inauguration of the Boji Boji Owa Mixed Modern Market, which was inaugurated some days ago.
The newly inaugurated Boji Boji Owa Mixed Modern Market, which includes a modern abattoir, is crucial towards improving economic activities and also stimulating innovation.
Governor Sharif.
And because Governor Sharif is dedicated to providing sustainable infrastructures, he has also encouraged that the facilities be given timely maintenance.
Governor Sharif always concerned about the well-being of Deltans.
I even hear say in line with the more agenda, opportunities for all. So Governor Sharif, he don't call for the redesign of academic curricula to equip graduates with the technical skills necessary for them to become job and wealth creators.
And no surprise, just some days ago, the Delta State Ministry of Science and Technology inaugurated the More ICT Year program at the Delta State Innovation Hub, Asaba. This program is a government-backed initiative aimed at equipping youths with essential digital skills.
For this Delta State, more agenda will reach all of us.
Opportunities for all.
Yes, sir.
Brought to you by Delta State Ministry of Information.
For our interview segment, and joining the conversation on Asaba and security is Mr. Olisa Eluaka, a passionate youth leader and community voice with a growing reputation for grassroots coordination and civic engagement. He currently serves as chairman of Usonia and Ofelua Street. In this role, he has been active on issues that affect safety, development, and the well-being of residents, especially young people. Mr. Eluaka is widely known for his socially active presence and strong connection with people at the grassroots, from mobilizing young minds for positive causes to building trust between communities and authorities. He has remained committed to real change. His leadership style is marked by visibility, accessibility, and action. These are qualities that remain vital in conversations around local security. He represents a generation of young Nigerians stepping up to influence change through responsibility and open dialogue. We are pleased to welcome him to the program. Good morning, Mr. Eluaka. It's good to have you on the show this morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much. I'm very fine.
Okay, so today we're considering security in Asaba. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate the security situation in Asaba?
The security in Asaba presently, like the Asaba of Asaba, has helped us in giving us a soft landing by making sure that you know your tenants. Number one, form to know your tenants, to know the people you put into the house and know what they do for a living, to get their full details and their numbers. It went as far as also giving them form to fill for each month for 500 naira, which they can also beef up the security, to know those people that is moving around, to be sure that they're actually doing their jobs and moving constantly.
Let me get clarity on this form. It's a form to fill for 500 naira.
Yes.
Who is filling the form?
The members of each compound from everywhere in Asaba. Yes. The landlords will be given a form to give to their tenants, a form to know your tenants, and each of the buildings of the rooms, or depending on how they are, to make sure they're paying that fee is for security.
Okay, so the tenant will pay 500 naira to the landlord.
To the landlord for security.
So the landlord ensures the security around, or the landlord now remits this 500 naira to the Asaba.
Yes, to remit to the Asaba. Then they will be the one to beef up the security for them. Yes.
Okay. I see. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how you didn't give us the rating?
Okay. What we do is
10 being maximum, 1 being minimum.
Okay.
So how do you rate the security?
The security in Asaba, it's it's nothing to write home about presently.
So what's
one of the reasons why I had to say that is we actually did not know the people living around us. Most of these people work with most of the armed robbers, the thieves, the kidnappers, the Fulani herdsmen. You may not be able to tell who you actually put in the house, but for me, I feel the government needs to come up with a lot of things like Asaba did. Again, they had an offer that was did before because of the kidnapping. The kidnapping and the arresting of people illegally and all that. They had to beef up, made an offer, they swore for. Is what they call this swore for in Ahaba language. They swore an offer, and I believe.
So what does that do?
What does that do? It helps in some of the persons that stays in Asaba. As far as you stay in Asaba, you may not be able to have the power again to do some certain things. If you're discussing in anywhere with anybody that has any motive or criminal motive or kidnapping motives, with that offer, it will break you. That's why Ibuzo had to follow suit. They did same. They had to go to all the boundaries in Asaba. Like Ibuzo, Opanam, most of them followed suit. And they started doing that thing. So with that part, he is trying to do his own part as a traditional ruler. So the governor needs to put on a more force to back up with what we are doing in Asaba. So we can get a proper security.
So you said the security situation in Asaba is not good. So you're rating them below 5.
I'm rating them 6/4. 6/10. Sorry.
So it's a pass mark.
It's a pass mark.
It's a pass mark.
Well,
because it's not rampant. It's not as rampant as it used to be now.
But when you talked about security, you narrowed it down to, let's say, home safety. That was why you talked about filling of forms, for people. But then security, I want to see it as an all-encompassing thing, that everybody needs to be secured. Even if I need to move from this point to this point, I need to be safe. Because from this point to this point, someone can come, I can be attacked, my phone can be taken, I can be harassed, anything negative can happen. So what modalities, even though it's not modalities, but what plans are underway to ensure that people, specifically the youths, are secured in Asaba?
Okay, one of the good things I want to see from that part, if keeping these youths, most of them very engaged, one, you make them very engaged, you give them jobs. Like yesterday, I had to employ 10 of the youth in the quarter there. There's a company called G4S. So what they do on more security to Delta State and all that. They have the office. Even the interview is starting today. Their class is starting today. They are meant to take them for 5 days training starting today. So we're actually trying to see how to keep them very busy, because being idle is one of the things that makes some of them to buy into ideas of people, try to tell them what to do and the things to do that is very wrong. So keeping them very busy will make them actually go away from crime and stay far away from it. If they are busy, they will not have any reason to go for any of those acceptance.
Yeah. So now, when you started, you commended the Asaba of Asaba. Then you also admonished the governor to do more. So looking at it from the state governments and in collaboration with the police force, what do you think? First of all, what do you think? Do you think the police are doing a good job?
I will not say they are not doing a good job, but they are doing a good job.
Yeah, because you are in the streets.
They are good.
You are in the streets, so it's the streets from modern streets.
Yeah. One of the things I want to speak in that direction is this. Most times when they get these armed robbers, most of the time at night, and they get these people that's acting funny, if you take them to the station, they'll have to ask you to treat them. Maybe the person that they came to rob is very...
What do you mean, ask you to treat
They'll
them?
ask you to treat them before
So
bringing
if you take someone that's trying to rob in your
yes,
area,
and
to
at the
police
process
station,
he was beaten,
okay, they will
and
not
there's
ask you
an
to
injury,
treat.
you have to treat the person.
Okay.
You have to treat the person before you put him in the station there, on the cell. So if at the anger of which the person comes to rob, because most of them come with arms and all that, maybe the pain or whatever pain they've inflicted on you, yes, or self-defense, and injuries are being passed on the person and all that, they will ask you to treat the person before they will have to put him in the station. So most of all those things make some people, when they catch them, they will just have to beat them and let them go. But they need to go for more of rehabilitation, to change their orientation, to keep them busy.
So with this knowledge of yours, what do you think the state government, if the governor was before you right now, what would you say to him regarding this?
If the governor is right before me now, I'll tell him, My Excellency,